Welcome to Roasting Coffee Made Easy. To do it, it's very cheap. It's not hundreds of dollars. It's like $27 for a little whirly pop popcorn popper. You'll notice it's aluminum, well built. They're not very expensive. The main thing when you go to order it on Amazon, that's where I get mine, is to make sure that you find that it has gears that have Allen wrenches, Allen screws onto the gears, so you can take the gears off. If they don't have these little screws on them, then you can't take it apart and convert it to a mechanical roaster. You can still use this fine as a roaster, manual roaster. Put it over your fire and crank it for about 20 minutes. That sounds great, doesn't it? 20 minutes, it's a long time to crank. So you take your roaster, you get it, you'll have to have a 1/4 inch, you know what, I don't even remember what Allen wrench this is. That could be a problem, couldn't it? It's about this size. You fit it in there, take it off. Well, first of all, you want to convert it to something like this. So this roaster here was my old roaster. I've used this for about 4 years, and just recently I was doing a roast and relying on technology on one of my digital probes to alert me of the temperature, the max temperature that I wanted to keep the coffee at to roast it, and it never went off. And I was busy taking care of the kids and completely charred and made the coffee charcoal. That's like happened twice in maybe 5 years. So usually you don't do that. Maybe the first time you do it, you'll learn a lesson. Anyway, so what you'll do is take a pair of snips, metal snips, and you're going to cut right here. Cut this piece right here, and you're going to bend it up. It's kind of jinky, but it works. So you bend it up, take your gears off, these little plastic gears, some of them are metal. Take the gears off, and then you're going to also buy a electric motor. It's a DC, I believe 13 volts, something like that. DC motor works with a computer power supply. So a cheap $11 power supply for a computer will run this. It'll run at about 60 revolutions a minute, or 30. I think it's 60. It's just a motor, so you'll order that on Amazon. Then you'll order from Amazon. There's a company out of Tampa, I think, Caster, I think it is. They sell the connector. Connector goes from the motor to this little piece in the middle, which is your little stir thing. And that'll fit right down on that. It also has an Allen wrench, and you tighten it down both places. You'll use tape to tape this up and hook up your wires, and your roaster is done. It's that simple. Now, it takes a little bit of time to go through and do all that. I bought a roaster several years ago thinking a backup roaster, and what happened is it's metal gears and it does not have the Allen wrench screws. So I can't get these off. So this is just a purely manual. If all this electronic stuff fails, I can need to roast some coffee, I'll roast it manually. Oops, wrong way. So what you'll do, you'll need a pair of snips, a couple of this, sheet metal snips, either right or left. You'll need some wire cutters and strippers to take your power supply. This is your computer power supply that you buy for, I think, $11 on eBay or on Amazon. And you'll want to make sure that this part is on there, because it stops some of the, it's some sort of little filter. So I'll cut it here, and I'll take the 2 wires off, and those 2 wires go on the 2 pins. Doesn't matter which way or not. It's a DC motor. It goes forwards, backwards. It doesn't matter. And I simply took just a regular solder iron, and I had some solder, some old solder, So you just take the solder. Once you get it mounted, take your little thin wires, wrap them into that, solder them up, let them cool, and then electric tape the heck out of it. And this thing has been operating for 5 years, maybe 6, I think 5, without any problem. It doesn't catch fire. It gets almost 430 degrees in the pot, and it never affects that. It got black this last time because of the not paying attention, but before it was not black like this. Anyway, getting back to that. So we'll go through all the steps on how to do this. It's simple, it's easy, it's cheap. The motor, I can't remember, I think it's like $15. The little piece here, that was maybe $3 or $4. And your power supply, I think I got it for 11 bucks. And this was 28 bucks, 27 bucks. Free shipping with Amazon Prime. So all that is your roaster. Once you get it hooked up, get it put on the thing, you plug it in, and it goes around and around and around. And then we'll go into how to roast. The little thing in the middle, I don't know if you can see it, the little thing goes around. See it? That keeps the beans from burning, and you don't have to sit there and maintain it. You just keep the fire at a low fire. And I also have several probes, test probes of temperature. My old original one, just a regular probe. I bend one of these, stick it down in there, and it gives me a ambient temperature. Not real precise. I did get a precise one that has a meter that goes down inside a probe, and it still works very well, and it's supposed to let you know on your cell phone when it's ready. It didn't last time, I don't know why, but if you sit and watch it, you can listen and hear and smell, and you know when it's done. So we'll go through that in a few minutes. Let's get on to cutting this. So let's see. We want to go bend out. So flip it around, and you just cut it. Simple, easy. Not a lot of force. I mean, anybody could really do it. Okay, it's cut. So then you just bend this up carefully. Straighten it like that. There you go. And you could take pliers and straighten it all out, make it all halfway pretty. So at this point, then we'll take the piece that I lost. Also, you'll need zip ties to tie the motor around that piece of metal. So we take this, put that in there, unscrew it. Yeah. Okay, it's out. So we just wiggle this back like this. Oh, I gotta unscrew it. Well, that's not quite as easy as it was before. Did you have fun?